do it because he asked
All
so
right.
nicely.
Thank everybody for showing up.
Stand up, Chubbs.
With no outbursts, unruly
Aside from one
activities,
pathetic.
all phones need to go on airplane mode or silent. If your phone is repeatedly going off, you will be found in contempt of court. Any outbursts from any individuals in the general seating section will be found in contempt of court. Everyone at this time, everyone but the prosecution and defense may be seated. Mr. Gavin, if you could please swear in the plaintiff and the defense.
I will, you sir. All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. Raise your right hands. That is your right hand. Leave up. Do you swear that the evidence you shall give to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I
Yes, sir.
swear, Lord Gavin.
Lord Gavin. Nah, bro.
Okay, Mr. Gavin, what is today's case?
Your Honors, today's case is 06996-420 Willie Mak versus EMS.
Okay, understood. All right, is the plaintiff's side ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, is the defense ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, plaintiff's defense, you may give your opening statement at this time.
Yes, Your Honor. Before giving my
No,
opening statement.
plaintiff.
Oh, plaintiff. What was I say? Thank you, Your Honor. Everybody hear me back there?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, just making sure this mic's working. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is not about EMS worker refusing to help people. It is not about malicious intent, recklessness, or abandoning duty. This case is about a split-second decision made during a chaotic and dangerous scene where an EMS provider was forced to balance conflict obligations under pressure while fearing for his own safety. The department claims this EMS provider violated SOPs because he did not stage far enough away from the scene and because he rendered aid to a gang member before an officer. But when we examine the actual SOPs, the situation becomes far more complicated than the department would like for you to believe. The SOPs repeatedly emphasize one thing above all else: EMS safety. They state the EMS personnel should never place themselves in danger. They instruct EMS workers to avoid dangerous situations and to prioritize their own lives during active scenes. And most importantly, the same SOP regarding officer priority contains an explicit exception when the EMS provider is under threat. The evidence will show that armed individuals were present at the scene. The evidence will show that the EMS provider reasonably feared for his safety. Faced with an armed gang member carrying a body in rapidly evolving and highly volatile environment, he made a judgment call under pressure, not out of disrespect for law enforcement, but out of fear for survival instinct and attempt to prevent the situation from escalating further. At the end of this hearing, we believe the evidence will show that this was not willful misconduct deserving termination, but at most stressful judgment call, an imperfect and dangerous situation, one the department chose to punish disproportionately and unfairly.
Understood. Does that conclude your opening statement?
Yeah, I spent 3 days on this. Respect me.
Understood. Defense, you may give an opening statement if you have provided one.
Yes, sir. I do have a statement, but I would like to ask permission if the courts would grant it. I would like to use one curse word, if I may.
I'll allow it.
All right. Yes, Your Honor. Willie Mak, while serving as a paramedic, knowingly violated multiple standard operating procedures of this EMS department. Such actions demonstrated a clear disregard for department policy, patient safety, and professional standards. Following a thorough investigation, it was discovered that Willie Mak doesn't know his own ass from his SOPs and needs a damn reality check. Because at no
Mr.
point
Salt!
in that footage... Yes, sir?
I said one.
Oh, shit.
It's going to be a $5,000 sanction.
My bad. I'm
Salt!
sorry.
It was the second one. It was the third one. It's going to be another $5,000.
Like what you saw with
My
Beto.
apologies. May I finish? I'm at the last sentence, sir.
You may finish.
Okay, because at no point in that footage available was a firearm even remotely pointed at him or was a threat given. That'll be all, Your Honor.
Understood.
Yeah, better be all.
From the plaintiff's side, would you like to start with presenting your evidence first or calling witnesses to the stand?
We'd like to just start with witnesses.
Okay, you may call your first witness to the stand.
I call my client Willie to the stand.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Willie, come on up here.
Let's go, Willie!
Mr. Gavin, could you please swear in the witness?
Oh, gee.
Yes, Your
Oh,
Honor.
let him get in, please, first.
Raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the evidence you shall give to this court in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and that this is your solemn affirmation?
Yes, sir.
Hey, yo, EMS, we got someone dead on the floor behind me.
Okay, the plaintiff's side, you may start your questioning.
For the record, please state your name and position that you had in EMS.
My name is Willie Mak, and my position was a paramedic.
How long have you worked at EMS?
About a month or so.
Have you previously been disciplined in EMS?
No, sir. I have never received a strike or a warning.
Were you trained on the SOPs provided by EMS?
Yes, sir.
What was your understanding of scene safety requirements?
Don't be directly into the line of fire. I had to be 2 or 3 blocks away from the scene. I can still be within eye view and see what's going on at the scene.
So you say you understand the SOPs, is that correct?
Correct.
Mr. Willie, can you describe the scene when you arrived?
When I arrived on scene, Officer Ropekels was having a conversation with a gang member. There was no shooting going on at the moment. The gang member had a weapon brandished. So I pulled off into the back alley where I felt I was out of harm's way because I felt more shooting was fixing to happen.
Was the situation calm or chaotic?
When I arrived on scene, I felt that it was calm because there was no active shooting.
Were there weapons present?
Yes, the gang member had a weapon brandished.
Did you observe armed individuals?
Yes, sir. There was one gang member that had his weapon out.
Willie, did you fear for your safety?
Yes, I did.
Why is that?
Because the gang member had his weapon out, and I felt like there was going to be more shooting happening.
Were you commanded to leave the scene when you arrived?
I was suggested to leave the scene, but there was no lawful order.
Why did you interact with the gang member first?
When I arrived, whenever I left the back alley and came back on scene the second time, he ran up towards me and asked me to get his friend up off the ground, and he had his weapon brandished, and I felt as if I was in danger at the moment.
Would you say you were threatened or pressured? Did you feel threatened or pressured?
Yes, I did. I felt threatened and pressured because the gang member had his weapon. And I did not notice whenever I first arrived on scene that he had his weapon out, because he had his fellow gang member on his shoulder, and as he ran up towards me, then I noticed that he had his weapon brandished.
Now, you said that you
Oh,
was suggested
one
that you leave
one
the
moment,
scene. Yeah, go ahead,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Attorney. I don't know whose phone keeps going off in the courts. It needs to be silenced immediately. I already made myself clear once about notifications and phones being put on airplane mode and silent. If it's not done, you will be charged in contempt of court. This is my last warning. All right, you may continue.
You got suggested to leave the scene, as you stated earlier. Is that correct, Willie?
Correct.
Was there radio traffic? Was the radio traffic chaotic during instructions?
No, sir.
Was there multiple people talking during the time of the beginning of when you arrived at the scene?
Correct.
If you had heard clearly a lawful order, would you have complied?
Yes, sir. If it was a lawful order, yes, sir.
Willie, were you trying to help people that night?
Yes, sir. That is my job as EMS. I love to help the people of the city as much as I can.
Did you ever intend to violate your policies?
No, never.
Do you believe your actions were necessary in that moment?
Yes, sir. I made a rational decision on helping the gang member first, and yes.
Defense can have their take with the with Willie, sir.
Defense, you may cross-examine the witness.
Mr. Willie Mak, so you began by saying that you didn't receive any lawful commands by your superiors, that you received a suggestion. How do you define the two?
A lawful order would be directly telling me that I need to leave the scene, and I was suggested that I might want to get out of there.
Girl, I'm gonna pull up.
Okay. And you also stated that you weren't aware that you were at that moment violating any SOPs when you clearly, and this may not be a direct quotation, but you said, I'm probably doing something wrong right now, as you began picking up said gang member.
Yes, because I felt as if I was in danger, that if I did not pick up the gang member, I would have just been killed myself.
Even though there was no threat or a weapon aimed at you, you are in possession of a taser, correct?
Correct.
All right. And at some point when this dangerous individual that was armed, they were aiming their gun away from you, firing at PD. You could have administered some other instead of assisting, right?
Correct. But there is a fear for life. I felt as if I unholstered my taser, that he would have just unloaded his assault rifle into me.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Take a week.
Understood.
Bitch, shut the fuck
Mr.
up.
Mack, you may return. Be seated.
Thank you, Grandpa.
All right. From the plaintiff's side, do you have any more witnesses that you would like to call to the stand?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to call on Officer Rope.
Okay, officer, if you could please approach the stand. Mr. Gavin, if you could swear him in.
Whoa.
All right, Staff Sergeant.
What the fuck? I
Or
can't
please
even
raise
sit
your
down.
right hand. You know you're not going to be able to. All right. Do you affirm that the evidence you shall give to this court in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and that this is your solemn affirmation?
I do.
Mr. Rope.
Yes, sir.
What was your play in this situation?
So I was actually responding to some 1015s in the area. I did witness the whole thing as Willie Mak was on scene when I arrived. 1015 is shots fired in the area.
Was
I
this an
arrived on
active?
scene.
guys, innocent.
So it wasn't
wrestler.
an active scene when I arrived.
Order in the
There
court.
was 2 people.
If we could please have that woman charged with contempt of court.
Copy.
You may continue.
I'll repeat
There were
the
2
question.
people
Was
dead.
this an
Yes, sir.
active and dangerous scene?
So the scene was pretty much over. There was one guy still brandishing a firearm, 2 Habibis on the ground when I arrived. Approached the guy to ask him what he was doing, and he then ended up shooting me in the face. There was no present danger at the time upon arrival.
So when you arrived, were there any armed gang members present?
Yes, sir.
Was the situation tense?
No, sir. It got
they're
tense.
armed, but it's not tense. Okay.
It got tense towards the end. It was not tense. There was one guy armed. Scene was over. So we thought.
Okay.
During
And then it
radio.
escalated instantly.
Okay. Was there
All
yelling or
officers respond to
confusion
shot
during
fired
the scene?
outside.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Was there multiple people speaking simultaneously?
No, sir.
You were the only officer on scene. Were you moving dynamically through and throughout the scene?
Yes, sir, I was.
Can you confirm that EMS worker had heard to remove himself from the scene?
I cannot confirm that, sir. We are on different radio channels.
Do you possess body cam footage of the alleged order?
How's he gonna what the?
No, sir.
They're on different
Actually,
radios.
my body cam was broken on scene. I actually had to use your client's body cam for my statement.
And who in EMS showed up at the scene while you were trying to de-escalate the situation?
That was Willie Mak, sir.
Was there any other EMS agents on site?
I was low-key wondering why the radio.
Not that I've seen, no, sir.
Okay, because from my understanding, there was a NOAA that was also involved from ENS.
I didn't see it. The only one I seen on there was Willie Mak, just because he was on his bike, a couple streets down, or a couple, I'd say a block down from where the scene was.
Would you say it's fair to say that EMS workers rely heavily on officer communication during active scenes?
Absolutely.
Was the scene fully stabilized?
It seemed to be when I arrived. And then it escalated
so
very
you would say
quickly.
it escalated quickly. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when it started escalating, things got really tense and chaotic.
Correct.
You've been in PD how long?
About 4 months now.
About 4 months. Through your experiences, when things start to escalate, is it easy to keep calm?
No, sir, not always.
As an officer, you're pretty familiar with the streets, is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, is there an exact measurement used to define 2 to 3 blocks?
No, sir.
These, this table, it's square. Would you say this is a block?
Absolutely not, sir.
What defines as a block?
Maybe a street or 2 over.
So that's maybe, it's not defined.
Objection, Your Honor. Foundation.
Sustained. Please get to the point.
Does your SOP define how to measure blocks?
No, sir.
Thank you. Defense?
I have no questions for the witness.
Okay, Mr. Rope, you may return to your seat. Plaintiff, do you have any more witnesses to call to stand?
Yes, sir. The last person we'd like to call is the EMS chief, Lilac.
Okay, if you could please approach the stand.
Which stand do I go to?
This one. On my side, Lilac.
On yours.
Mickey's had pop really bad.
Alright, please raise your right hand.
Oh, my apologies. Oh, ow.
Alright, please raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the evidence you shall give to this court in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and that this is your solemn affirmation?
Yes, sir.
Can you please speak up?
There's,
I said
there's
yes,
a mi-
sir.
There's a microphone, Lilac, right in front of you if you hit E. Flex your E muscle.
Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, it's working great.
Perfect.
Your SOP contains a strike and warning system, is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
The SOPs discuss retraining, correct?
No.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
The SOPs discuss suspension procedures, correct?
Sorry, I
Yes,
didn't mean to go on
correct.
radio, sir.
Those procedures exist to ensure fair discipline, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
My client was not given a warning, is that correct?
That is, in fact, correct.
He was not given a strike, is that correct?
That is correct. He was terminated, sir.
He was not offered retraining, is that correct?
That is correct.
He was terminated immediately, is that correct?
Yep, that is correct. As soon as we received the report, he was terminated.
In your SOPs, it says 2 to 3 blocks away, one ordered by an officer to protect themselves, is that correct?
That is correct. However, within training, we teach them that no matter what, when shots are fired, they are to go 2 to 3 blocks away. He knew that. I myself ensured that he knew that.
Is that 2 to 3 blocks downs? Does it count sideways? What defines that 2 to 3 blocks away?
It's kind of like a circle radius. So 2 to 3 blocks in any
Circles
direction.
and blocks are different shapes.
Sir,
Does-
ma'am, please do not speak until spoken upon. We are in a
So,
courtroom.
so you said there's a circle. Is there a written tactical perimeter policy?
Yes, 2 to 3 blocks away in a circle radius. So you could go 2 to 3 blocks to the west, to the east, to the north.
Is it
Any,
I'm sorry, Lilac. Continue.
any and everywhere, 2 to 3 blocks away, as long as it's 2 to 3 blocks away from where the shooting has occurred.
Is a scene safety sometimes left to EMS's discretion?
Most times, no. We leave discretion to command. If they are not to command, they are to obey the written SOPs. At command, they get a bit more freedom to make those decisions, and they get a bit more trust to make those decisions.
Does your SOP define a measurement of a block?
It does not.
SOP repeatedly discusses EMS's safety, is that correct?
It does repeatedly do that, yes.
The SOP states officers are first priority, is that correct?
It does, correct.
But there's an exception.
There is an exception which details when a gun is pointed to your head. That is the specific line in the SOPs.
The SOP does not define how immediate that threat must be, is that correct?
No, I think a gun pointed at your head defines how immediate the threat is.
When you say unless you have a gun to your head, must that gun touch your head?
Must that gun be pointed at you?
Because the SOP strictly says unless you have a gun to your head.
It doesn't need to be touching, it just needs to be close enough. Apologies, I do need to eat.
Yeah, you're fine.
You don't got some water?
So if that's the case, the SOP does not require the weapon to physically touch the EMS worker, is that correct?
It requires it to be pointed in their direction.
But not touching.
Not touching now, but pointed in that direction.
If an EMS worker reasonably fears armed retaliation that involves safety concerns,
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
if an EMS worker reasonably fears armed retaliation, does that involve safety concerns?
I would say yes, to an extent. I made the judgment based on the call that Willie did in fact make on scene, and I deemed it irresponsible based on his training and his knowledge of the SOPs.
So there is a claim that he was instructed to leave. Is that correct?
That is correct, by my assistant chief, Noah Good.
And what was the instruction?
Welcome back, Mickey.
The instruction was to leave.
What was Noah's exact words?
Noah's exact words were, "You might want to leave the scene."
That's not an instruction.
That is, in fact,
That wasn't me
instruction.
talking. I think that's somebody behind me.
I don't know who the hell.
Yeah, this is a court patron. Sorry.
An instruction means you need to leave, not you should.
And I'm assuming, because I don't have access to the body cam, is there audio and video proving that Noah said that?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor?
Okay, defense, do you have any questions for the witness?
I have no questions for my client, Your Honor.
Simple.
Understood. You may be seated.
Thank you, Your
Gotta
Honor.
get that client off the stand.
Does the plaintiff's
I told you to
side
do
have
the
any
fence.
more witnesses they would like to call to the stand?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, defense, do you have any witnesses you would like to call?
Yes, Your Honor, but real quickly, I would like to refer to Exhibit 5, the body cam / dash cam evidence that is provided. I did provide that in my exhibited evidence of 1 through 9. If you do look in there, we do have bulleted timed points as to when each event and each SOP violation was committed, Your Honor. Other than that, I do have a witness I would like to call, and that would be Noah Good starting off.
Okay, Mr. Good, if you could please approach the stand.
All right.
Stop munching. Get in there, boy.
I'm hungry.
Alright. Raise your right hand.
All right, sir.
Do you affirm that the evidence you shall give to this court in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and this is your solemn affirmation?
This is my solemn affirmation.
It's a big word for you, I know.
Alright, defense, you may begin questioning the witness.
Mr. Noah Good, how many strikes does it take to get fired?
I plead the fifth.
Okay, what?
You're in court, buddy.
Your Honor, you can't believe
All right.
it's not a criminal trial.
How many SOPs were violated by Willie Mak?
I believe 8. Off the top of my head.
Okay. All right. Mr. Noah Good, did you give him a command to leave that scene whenever he identified that it was not safe?
I gave him an implied suggestion.
An implied suggestion. Okay. Moving forward, did he take that suggestion? How far did he move away from the scene?
I'm not too sure. I left the scene before I could see.
Well,
I was trying not to get
in the body cam. He proceeded to retreat into the alleyway, about less than a half block away from the scene, far under the limit of 2 to 3 blocks away. I'm pretty sure common sense, looking at any GPS, could tell you the average length of a block, especially if you're in any given area. You could count the blocks around you to have an idea how far away you should go.
That is correct.
Right, what defines a block?
You talking cinder blocks?
yet to describe what a
We're
block
talking
is.
city blocks.
City blocks.
City
We
blocks.
have yet to define what a city block
That's stated in
is.
that
Use your imagination.
Yeah,
Stop
think
talking.
Alright, I
a
have-
little hard on that
Called
one.
upon.
That's enough
Stop talking.
outbursts from the crowd.
I have one more question, Noah Good.
Yes, sir.
This is probably the most important one. Are you better than Noah Carson? Who's the number one Noah?
Yo, relax.
Okay, to be completely honest, he
Noah.
beat my ass.
Move.
Sorry about that, Your Honor. But he
Don't let
did.
it happen again. I take my curse words very
Relevant.
seriously.
I
as
understand,
you all
sir.
found out earlier.
I
don't want to
understand,
hear
Your Honor.
another one.
Careful, I'm right behind you. I'm right in front of you.
No further questions,
your
Your
words.
Honor.
Choose your words wisely.
Understood. It very
Sorry?
much upset me.
Mr. Noah,
Yes, sir.
does your SOP state city blocks or just blocks?
It is defined in the SOPs as blocks.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, both sides have no further questions. Mr. Good, you may return to your seat.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any other witnesses you wish to call to the stand?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to call Officer Vekram to the stand.
Officer Vekram, if you could approach.
All these witnesses ain't doing shit.
Just that one witness, please.
It's usually
All right,
Wagwan.
officer, raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the evidence you shall give to this court in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and this is your solemn affirmation?
Yes.
Officer Vekram, what is your prior experience?
My prior experience would be captain in EMS. Was high command, and then when the towns was introduced, I was command.
All right, Officer Vekram, would you consider it normal for people to be terminated with multiple SOP violations, such as 8 violations in one medical scene?
Most definitely, yeah.
On average, how many SOP violations did one have to do to gain enough strikes to be terminated?
Definitely more than 3 in my opinion, because usually when you do violate one of your first SOPs, you do get a strike. But then when you do multiple, like several, maybe close to 10, and then I think it should be immediate termination.
Oh.
Well, we lost our fucking judge.
Oh,
Interesting.
well, we're going into a brief recess while the judge has to organize his brain.
Raccoon, go back over there.
Can I please get a picture?
All right, Raccoon's filling in as judge. Let's continue the
Fine,
case.
I got you.
Hi, I'm Amphi.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
I'll just shout. It's alright.
I have no more questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Tim, if these ladies keep talking, remove them.
Shut up. You might as well just remove them now. Not gonna lie. They're not gonna shut the fuck up.
Tim, arrest them.
I agree with Amp.
Next one is
Defense?
put in handcuffs, and you can just sit.
Get
You
him out
can just sit in the
already.
cells.
Bro,
this
like
is
that ass,
ridiculous.
just get him out already, bro.
Defense, are you here?
Yo, Bailiff, just get him out, bro. They've been doing this the entire time. Suck your father's dick, boy. I'm good.
I think defense fell asleep.
I think he's asleep. Yeah.
Mr. Salt, are you there?
Well, it looks like Willie won.
So I already,
He
I
said
already
no
said
further
no more
questioning.
questions. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
I
further
asked if you could
questions.
repeat the last question. I don't believe I heard it with my head popping.
I don't even remember the last question.
Oh my God. he's
You asked him about the SOPs after 8 strikes. Has he ever witnessed anyone going beyond 3 strikes? What happens?
Oh
with
yeah.
that? And he said,
Have
in
you
my
ever witnessed
opinion,
anybody going beyond
You
3
got
to
no
4
offense,
strikes
most
before getting
people that are-
terminated?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the question?
Have you seen anybody go beyond 3 or 4 strikes without being terminated within one medical scene?
Could you repeat the question one more time?
Boo!
Have you ever seen anybody else in EMS terminated after 3 or 4 strikes? In one medical scene.
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, understood. The plaintiff's side, you can begin to question if you have any questions.
Sir, does your SOP say if you have more than 3 strikes, you will be terminated?
I plead the fifth.
What the actual hell? Oh my god.
And if you can recollect from memory of EMS, does the SOP state what happens beyond 3 strikes?
I plead the fifth.
Whoops.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, understood. You may return to your seat.
Sweet. Thank you. No worries, no worries. Anytime.
That sucks.
Defense, do you have any additional witnesses to call to the stand? Ma'am.
Tell Similac
Yes,
keep
Your
it down.
Honor. We would like to call Jake Sickle to the stand.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Sickle, if you could please
hold on.
approach.
All right, sir. Please raise your right hand.
No. Yep.
All right. Do you affirm that the evidence you shall give to this court in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and this is your
Yeah.
solemn affirmation?
Yes.
Mr. Jake Sickle, you said
Objection,
you
Your
know the
Honor.
story of what happened.
Objection to witness. He's not even dressed. How do I know this guy's not gonna lie and perjurate himself? He's not even dressed.
Overruled.
Your Honor,
he can
he
continue.
folds under pressure, and he has a cognitive function where he can only speak in front of crowds whenever he's in his underwear.
Okay, understood. I'll allow it just this once.
Yeah, can you
All right, Mr. Jake Sickle, can you recall the same story that you said that you knew?
Yes. Listen,
Of
Your
the
Honor.
situation?
I will never forget the night where I was standing outside of the Grove Street gas station, buying some cigarettes, and all hell broke loose. There was gunshots everywhere. Police officers, gang members shooting at one another. Officers were yelling at each other. Who let you mess this close? PD was screaming over the radio. The scene's not code 4, and for EMS to get away. But Willie came flying down the road, going 120 plus. He almost crashed his EMS vehicle into a bunch of locals. He stopped his car as officers were saying, back up, Willie. And Willie rolled down the window and said, nah. He parked directly in the middle of the shootout and hopped out with the med bag and bullets still flying. I remember officers flying, abandoning their positions.
Yeah, Your
because
Honor,
they had to
the
protect him
objection
instead of the
foundation-
suspect. One cop even screamed, we're about to have 2 patients. At one point, Willie absolutely punched the nearest cop and knocked him out just to try to get the patient. I thought I was hallucinating at first because of how crazy it was. The officer dropped down to the floor with Willie yelling, I need to revive him. Meanwhile, the entire scene turned into total chaos with a PD unconscious officer and an EMS employee sprinting around in active gunfire.
Your Honor, motion in Limine.
Hey, I'm not done, sir. Shut the hell up. At one point, Willie started trying to drag
Restrain
around.
yourself, sir.
I have a right motion in Limine.
Thank you. May I continue?
You may. Can we get to some relevance of what you're getting at here?
Okay. He was simply disobeying orders from PD, disobeying their value, and absolutely not understanding any command. He sucker punched an officer in the head, dropping him to the ground, and was very abusive towards all the PD officers. just to try to get the patient on the ground.
That would be captured on body cam. So if he's lying, it's perjury.
Is there proof of this?
Could you repeat that, please?
Your Honor, how do you believe any of this?
Hanzo,
I would
did you
never
say
lie.
something?
I'm just saying. I'm just asking how this is relevant, and there's no evidence stating that in discovery at all. This is-
Understand. Yes.
I'm just calling him as a witness, Your Honor.
Sustained. Do you have any further questions for your witness?
No, I don't.
Okay, defense. Would you wish to cross-examine this specimen?
No questions, Your Honor.
Understood. Mr. Sickle, you may be
You're
seated.
damn right. There's no questions.
Mr. Sickle, please refrain from any outbursts.
Restrain yourself.
I don't think that man's known restraint his entire life. Okay, defense, do you have any further witnesses?
I don't have any further witnesses, but I would like that previous witness's testimony to be stricken from record because it doesn't match the area of events within the body cam, and I would, like to be able to keep that as evidence, Your Honor.
Consider it stricken from the record.
No further questions, Your Honor. No further witnesses.
Okay. Do either sides have any more evidence they wish to present to the courts?
Your Honor, if we could, we'd like to call upon Tim Lane. If Tim Lane is still present.
Okay, I'll allow it.
You sexy looking Rambo.
Thank you. Thank
Raise
you.
your right hand.
There you go, sir.
Do you affirm that the evidence you shall give to this court in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and this is your solemn affirmation?
Yes, sir. Go on, shout.
Mr. Lane, were you the officer that arrived at the end of the scene?
Yes, I was.
If you could, please use your e-muscle to speak into the microphone in front of you. Can you hear me, Tim?
Is there Tim?
Yes.
Yeah, you're on the wrong side.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe he was
just-
asking you if you could use your e-muscle to speak into the microphone.
Yes, sir.
I can hear you from here.
Okay,
Mr. Salt,
officers,
I'm not sure if
could
you
we
can hear.
charge the women that are twerking in the courtroom with contempt of court?
Yes, Your Honor. Rope, secure him.
Mr. Lane, when you arrived, can you explain the scene to me?
I arrived to rope and Sergeant Noah's panics. As I ride up, there was a gang member with a green flag with a class 3 out, openly running around with it. He come out from beside the building.
Copy,
and
back away
then
if you need to.
told me that it was some white flags that shot rope. And then he got in the car and
Shots
left.
fired, courthouse. Sorry.
When you arrived, did you see? Can you guys please be quiet? When you arrived on the scene, did you see Rope Kells laying on the ground?
I did.
When you discharged your weapon and disarmed the perpetrator in the scene, and things started to de-escalate, did you have a chance to look at Mr. Rope Kell's injuries?
No, he was shot. I was informed that he was shot when I gave Willie the code 4 to treat.
When Mr. Kells was examined, was he unconscious or was he still conscious?
He was unconscious on the ground. He was flat backed.
If Willie was not there, would Mr. Kells still be with us?
No, sir.
Where was Willie when you gave the code 4? Did you see him?
He was between the two buildings in the alley.
What was his exact location when you gave him the code 4?
He was sitting in between the two buildings, right at the edge of the alley.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
No questions, Your Honor. Let's get this thing on a roll.
Understood. Any more witnesses that we'd like to call to the
No,
stand?
Your Honor.
Okay. Plaintiff, do you have a closing statement?
Yes, Your Honor. The
Okay.
department wrote SOPs that repeatedly prioritize EMS's safety, yet punished an EMS provider for making a safety-based judgment call during a chaotic armed encounter.
Good closing statement.
Okay, is that all you have there, sir?
I could add some more. This
No,
case
no,
was decided emotionally, not procedurally. Ambiguous SOPs, dangerous scene, fear for life, unclear command, no malicious intent, skip disciplinary process. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Understood. Defense, do you have a closing statement you would wish to present to the courts?
Yes, Your Honor. Paramedic Willie Mak knowingly violated multiple SOPs of the EMS department. These violations included, but were not limited to, failing to prioritize law enforcement PD on scene, failing to ensure the scene was clear and secure, failing to receive a code 4 on the radio before approaching, failing to stage the ambulance and or the emergency response motorcycle at least 2 to 3 blocks, city blocks away, disregarding direct advisement from a superior and unnecessary placing himself in avoidable danger. He further compounded these violations by verbally admitting at the scene that he knew his actions were wrong. That's all, Your Honor.
Okay, understood. I'm gonna call a
That was trash.
quick 5-minute recess here to review, and I will be back out with the court's decision.
The SOP says blocks.
All right, we're gonna get this over with before anyone else's safety is compromised. Can everybody hear me? Hello, can everybody hear me on the microphone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Though the courts do sympathize and feel that the plaintiff was acting out of fear for his life, the blatant SOP disregards that he committed undoubtedly led to his compromised safety. However, this is a fire at will state. Due to the amount of violations that he committed, EMS was well within their rights as an employer to fire the individual. However, the courts are not opposed to EMS rehiring the individual with conditions of retraining if they do see fit.
What kind of
The amount of $50,000 requested by the plaintiff will be denied by the courts.
Behind the barricade.
We're in a court and y'all don't even know how to follow laws.
Your Honor, could you
I'm kind of cold.
repeat?
Court is adjourned.
Literally already